So now tell me, where are we in this grand scheme of this fabulous thing called life?
Well, honestly, for the most part, okay. But, there's a wobble, and I haven't had a wobble for a while, and I know the energies are crazy, and, this whole 11/11 and the solar flares and all that stuff. But I guess I just needed to touch base with someone who I trust and I know, just to bring me back on track.
Yeah, exactly, my lovey. And my darling Tanya, that's the thing that is going to be our greatest challenge, is coming back to the center, because these spirals, these energy spirals, are just moving so fast in every possible conceivable direction. It's like all potential is like right in front of us, like this right now. And it's such a fine space where we have got to fine tune ourselves and go like, okay, who am I in this? How do I want to resonate? How do I want to move forward? How do I want to think, feel, believe, hear, eat? Everything. We've got to keep fine tuning. And we love pattern, damn it. It grabs us and hooks us, and then we down the damn road. And we've got to catch ourselves quickly before we go down it. So that's good that you're doing that you go like, oh no, I've just got to come back to the center. That is going to be our greatest challenge now, coming back to the center all the time, not just once a week.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that is what you say is exactly as it is. I'm finding I'm able to identify the patterns a lot quicker, but I'm feeling tired. I'm feeling like identify, do work, be la la la, and then identify. I feel almost like I want some rest, and I don't know if there is any.
Yes. And to find the peace, the restfulness, the peacefulness in being mindful. So it's like restfulness and mindfulness. We've got to find that little fine tune over there, that we don't have to be doing and trying to work it out so much, because if we are trying to work it out, we're trying to work it out in a time frame that makes sense to us for where we've been.
Yeah.
You know what I've said there? So if we're trying to sort it out, work it out in some way, make it understood to ourselves, it's like we're trying to take this new thing that has got no stops, no holding spaces, nothing. It's just nothing. And so we got that space, and then we're trying to go like, okay, so I'm going to fit it into what I know already. It's got to work in my life as I know it now. And my lovely Hugh, that's just going to cause us agony. It's because it's going to be like taking all of this potential and squeezing it into a little bottle with a thin little narrow neck.
Okay, I mean, I hear that. Yeah, there's and I guess, I mean, one of my patterns is just to keep on trying and to keep on pushing, and that has led me to becoming despondent. It's led me to going, what's the point?
Exactly. And Tanya, I promise you, again, when we get to what's the flippant point, that's the point we are to get to.
So you're telling me I'm right here. What's the point?
Yeah, you're right here. I promise you, my darling girl, it's unbelievably on time. What's the point? Because the point is that we make it understood to us. And the only thing that we understand is the paradigm we've been in to this point.
Yes.
Had enough, not doing it anymore. Too damn tired to care. Cannot lift my arms to even begin to entertain it or activate it. Not pursuing, not doing. I'm done. And people are saying that they're done. But we're not done as in I'm giving up on my life. We're done doing the life the way we have been doing it. That's what we must be saying, but a little bit more carefully. I'm done with doing, pursuing, activating, showing up, being responsible, holding the space. I'm done with that. I'm not doing it anymore. I'm not holding the space that we don't want to be held anymore.
No, I'm exactly there. I've been there for a long time, but it's almost reaching a I don't even know how to describe the point.
Crescendo.
Yeah, I'm done. I am done.
Yes.
And you're right. I'm done with the old way of doing things and all the expectations and all the should haves, could haves, musts.
No.
And then there's still the story that says, well, what if you don't show up in the way that people expect you to?
Exactly.
And so, yeah, I've got a little challenge coming up next week with, I'm not going to show up like people expect me to. Already decided.
Exactly. Isn't that delicious?
And that's a bit scary.
Oh, it is. It is a bit scary, but you know what's wonderful? It gives them an opportunity to let go of their attachment to that story that you're holding the attachment to. Just takes one person to let go of the thread that we've all been holding. This one lets it go and they're untethered. And the rest of us are holding on to all these little threads and requirements and stories. And then we look at this one just floating without it. And hey, gosh, they're still alive. Isn't that amazing? Well, then how about if I let go, even if it's just one hand, if I let go here and see what will happen? It gives everyone else permission to think again and to show up in a different way. We're just making space for possibility.
And so then the human brain wants to define that possibility, but it shouldn't.
No,
we should be just being open and allowing whatever comes from that change that you decided to do in that pattern.
Exactly. I have no idea. I keep on saying that. I have no idea. And when we say we've got no idea, just listen to that. I own no idea. And then that's the best place to be. No idea how it's going to be, how I'm going to be, how it's going to unfold, how I'm going to be safe, how I'm going to be in my position of being. But no idea. No idea. And can we find comfort in that space?
Yeah, so then the challenge right now for me is exactly that. It's the fear of, okay, so where am I going to get the money? Where am I going to create the space to buy the business or fulfill the things that I want to do? Where am I going to find the time to create, record, market, sell? So there's all this fear associated with
showing up.
I mean that exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think that I know the wobble is the fear.
It's always going to be the fear.
It's kind of like being a little bit overwhelming in the last few days. Not kind of like it has been.
Of course, yeah. And here in that, it's like I can have this thing that I'm here to give, this gift of me, I can have it when I've done all my human little stable points. I've done this, I've earned the money, I've created the platform, I've done the thing, ding, 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 ding. Then I can have that. Then I can show up. Then I will be in the right space. And that is a game. That is such a setup that has been pushed into the human consciousness for so many hundreds of years. And it is directly connected to suppression, subservience, dominance over, slavery, persecution. It's directly linked to that. You're not good enough yet. And there's someone who says, this is what it looks like when you're good enough. And it starts that duality and that split. And the minute the split happened, that's when we went wrong as humanity.
Okay, so it's particularly wobbly and hard right now because it's such a big thing, really.
It's the space between.
Yeah.
Undefined undefined, unknown, therefore filled with trepidation and fear and anxiety. And so what do we do the minute we feel that lack of stability? The minute we get that, we go like, well, how will I stabilize it? And the first thing we go to stabilizing it is money, structures. That's the first thing.
So what if where's the balance between allowing yourself to destabilize and be in the vortex, if you like, and yet still have to manifest it here in the physical form? You know, that's the chakra system, and like we can't all live out there.
Yeah.
And like, I have to tell you a really funny thing. So a few months ago, I did a mushroom journey, and I so wanted to have an I wanted to be so out there with the mushrooms, right? Do you know, they are so wise. Nope, you will be in your body. You can't do this if you're not in your body. So every physical sensation you could imagine. I was nauseous. I had so much snot. You can't believe, like, it was not possible for me to leave my physical body.
Yeah.
Every time I tried, no, we want you in your body. It was astounding. It really was astounding.
That's exactly it.
And so there's this part of me that wants to continue to escape, but I know that is not where I'm supposed to be.
Yeah, we're not, my lovey. You are so right. And we're here in a form to help the transformation. We've got to just get that, get in a form, be here, be present, be here, be conscious, be in the thick stickiness of the human story, and hold the space that you're in. No matter what it looks like, it can look like this and it can look like that, and it looks like all kinds of horrificness in the collective right now. But be in that space right now and hold this moment of our humanity in awareness, in consciousness, and rise above what it is that is being revealed to us as our human story. There is another story that's running all the time, right next to the human story. And we've got to move towards that. We do move towards it with our heart, with that longing and that deep desire. But this story is running, and we are to be in the story so that we can feel this incredible pull, this magnetic frequency that is pulling us. And the more we yearn and the more we ache as a collective now, the quicker we're going to be able to use that field, that magnetic field, and hop into a higher vibration. They're running right next to each other, right next to each other. They are so close. They are touching right now. Now's the time to hop. And now's the time to be really aware of what it is that we will never do again. And we don't have to go in there and fix it and we don't have to do any of that stuff. That's just absolutely exhausting. We can't fix the mess that we've created. It's just too big. And it's rendering us immobile. We feel helpless and useless and disappointed with ourselves and each other. We can't fix it as a human. We can only bring it upwards to a higher frequency, a higher vibration. And the only way to do that is to connect back to the heart, the divine, and let that field pull us across, like someone's just turning the dial on the radio. And we stop listening to this radio station and we start to tune into the next one. So, you're angry? Wonderful. If you're disappointed? Wonderful. If you're tired? Wonderful. If you're not doing it anymore, you're just too tired to damn care? Wonderful. Because that means you're not activating the human story anymore. And in that, if we can just get to that next part where we say, I allow myself to understand surrender, sweet surrender, not use all these glorious things to get us out of our human so that we can have all this other experience of expansiveness. We are the expansive energy, condensed down into a little human capsule that can hold an energy and frequency in its little portal, its little antenna of being. It holds the space and it connects into all that we are, the magnificence of all of us. But all of us cannot come into this little human form, only a part of us. And it's that part of us that is wobbling and going, woo, and being all terrified. But we are linked to all of our higher self and to all that is. What is there to be scared about? It's just ridiculous. If you think about it like that and you really, really know that as truth, which I know with all my soul, then we are here in a form feeling the content of the story so that we can hold the other story. Because we're linked to who we are, we have this pulling and this love and compassion and kindness. There's such an awakening of that right now. And why? Because of the contrast. Contrast reveals the point. And these two amplifying energies just going off with incredible static. And in that static is a charge, an electromagnetic charge, a static electricity. It's very, very volatile. It's very activated. That's where we must be, the space between. We don't know what the hang's going on. We don't know what tomorrow is going to be about. We don't know who we are going to be in tomorrow. But it doesn't matter who we're going to be tomorrow, because we're already all that is, holding a space here. For as long as we need to be here, we hold the space. Just hold gracious space. I cannot tell you how important that piece is. It's the hardest thing we'll ever do. Sounds like the easiest thing that should be easy, but it's not. Hold gracious space. I am that already. Nothing to do, achieve, accomplish. No story to seek and go after. Because if we're creating it in the paradigm in which we are now, it is the same story with a different hat and a different prop and a disguise. It's the same story. It's got to be beyond that story now.
Thank you, Joy.
Wonderful. You're so on time, Tanya.
I needed a reminder.
Yeah. Really just be reminded, my sweetheart. And it's easy to forget. And we're all forgetting. We're having moments of wobbling and thinking we're just this human, because we feel very frail and fragile and stupid in our humanness right now. And we're very vulnerable in our humanness right now. But it's that vulnerability, that fragility, that gives us the possibility of expansion. It's the exact thing that we're quivering and quaking in that is giving us that next step.
Yeah, I feel much better. Thank you.
I know. Makes
Just
sense.
I just needed to center properly. And when my head is screaming and shouting and all sorts of other things are screaming and shouting and there's all sorts of things going on, I didn't allow myself to do it. Let me not say I wasn't able to. I didn't allow myself to do it.
And so your little journey into the chaos, the swirling energy, that little willingness to go into it, to feel it as the collective are feeling it now, like it's just, oh my gosh, everyone's just clutching their heads. The willingness for you to go there helps you to know how painful that point is, because you know it. You're not just thinking about it or imagining it or watching it as someone else. You are in it, knowing it into every fiber of your being. and it's absolute truth. It's not a game, it's not a performance, it's not anything. It's just willing to be in the deep snot and prana of it all. And that's what you've been in, right inside of it. And if you can be inside of something and witness yourself in it as well, can you imagine? Then you can know that you are your human in that, but you are your higher self that knows that this is not your place, that there is more. Right now, you know both signals very, very well.
So I had a dream the other night that was exactly that. And it's like talking to you now, they've kind of like fallen into, oh, okay, so that's what happened. So I was with a herd of elephants. And I was talking to them. I was communicating. I wasn't talking to them. I was communicating with them. And they were communicating with me. And it was all energetic. It was all telepathic. It wasn't like, hi, how are you? No, okay, I'm fine. None of that. And then the elephants started to get agitated. But before that, there was another me that was observing. The me that was this is in my dream, right? It was observing the me communicating with the elephants. And then the elephants started to get agitated. And the me that was with them wasn't afraid. And the other me was just simply watching, right? And then the elephants started to become aggressive and they started to chase me. And I started to run like a human does. And the next thing, I felt Hugh's hand on my chest and he was going, wake up, you're having a nightmare. So I was clearly, the human form was moaning about the fact that I was being chased. But in my dream, I had no anxiety. So although I was observing the elephants getting agitated and I was observing me and I was starting to run, I was not afraid like one normally would be in a situation like that. Like it's so hard to explain.
That's beautiful.
But my body was still, even in my sleep, my body was responding.
Yeah, the reactiveness. Fantastic. It is such a powerful dream that, and it's not a dream, it's an actual experience that you had. And what's wonderful is that you witnessed yourself with so much compassion for this human that is reactive. And it's only reactive in a story, a code that was set in place for us to survive to get to this point, which we have. And so that reactive state is exactly what has brought us to this point of our human consciousness existence. So if we got here now and we recognize that that was, and it's not broken, we're not broken or ridiculous or faulty, it was very helpful. But now the higher self knew that there's more. It's just witness this, watch what's happening. Everyone's reacting with what's happening in the world right now. But what is it telling us? What is that reaction of the elephants? What were they showing you? What was that aggression, that interaction? What was that? If you go there and you see that as the thing that is going agitating, like be fearful, run for your life, save yourself, and imagine, make a daydream and go back in the dream, and like a lucid dream almost, and redream it. And see yourself now as your one who would potentially want to just turn around and head for the hills. And then be the one that doesn't and stand there, just stand. Even if my mortal form no longer exists, can I stand in truth of who I truly am, that I'm a being of light that can never be extinguished. I'm the very breath of the divine. And then I stand in that, not in my human identity, which will end. The identity of this being will end. Could I just be willing to be in whatever's coming into me, know that it is potentially my end, but know that it's not the end of who I am, because that can never be ending. That is my forever of awareness, my consciousness connecting and expanding into all that is. If we could get that switch, oh my gosh, wouldn't that be wonderful? If we could get that little message so well and truly known to this human, and we could knock out our reactive energy cord, that connection. We could just say, okay, we don't need to react anymore. And none of us are reactive anymore, because reaction comes with survival. And if we say, and then the step behind the deeper step in that is that if you play with a game and you say, I don't have to survive, and you hear your cute little body goes, what do you mean? I must kill myself? No, don't have to survive. Survival is not the game I'm playing anymore. Just not going to play it. I'm going to play the game of thriving. And we keep consciously turning our little dial away from the code, the system of survival. We will change our frequency so quickly, all of us, because survival has us locked into a default reactive system that doesn't think, just runs away immediately. That was your human self doing that, doing exactly that system perfectly.
Yeah.
But we don't need that system anymore. We've got to redream it, reimagine it, recreate it. You're so great. I love it that you had that dream and you go back and redo it now. Don't need to survive. Wouldn't that be fabulous?
Yeah, I was just fascinated that my human body was responding, and yet it was not like that in the dream. Like in the dream, I was not afraid.
There you go. Yeah.
Unbelievable.
It's unbelievable. And people who have near-death experiences, they tell you that immediately. Before the impact of the car, or whatever it is that's going to take them out, before that, they are out their body. There's no pain, there's no suffering. It's only our mind that holds the idea of suffering and the terror of dying. But if we get over that we are already eternal, we don't have to do anything fabulous to be that which we already are. We're just holding a space here. If we can get out of that system, oh my gosh, it's going to be brilliant for us.
Very good.
Very good. And then we come full circle and we go like, so how am I going to go on from here? So how do I go on?
I've already gone there, so how do I go on from here, and it is just reconnect, stay connected all the time. And the last 6 months, it's really been, it's about being outside. It's about being still. It's about giving myself permission to do those things instead of chasing my tail all the time.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
Release.
That's where I am right now, but hey, it can change at any time.
And it'll change when it needs to change. And then we're mindful of the change. It's the ebb and flow. It's the wax and the wane. It's all that is moving us. And we just be moved, be breathed, be moved. And feel that if we can surrender into that, those are such key words, that surrender, allow, trust, release. All of those are such beautiful notes for us to come back to. Just let it go, let it release. Don't attach, don't identify, don't make a big thing of it. Don't attach it to any past story, because then we're pulling that whole story back into this time frame. And it's done. What's in our history is done. We are in the mess we are in now as a collective, because we keep replaying history. Imagine if we all just stopped doing the stupid his story, no, not her story, history.
How like you become aware of them, is that enough to release the pattern?
Yeah, it is. You can do nothing without awareness. The moment you have awareness, it's like you go into that dark room with all the gremlins and you put the light on. That's your awareness. The minute you see it and you start to recognize, you go, oh, that's what it is. It's got no more hook. The minute you put a light in a dark room, it opens up the light and the shadows dissipate. No secrets can hide. I tell you, that is exactly it. And how wonderful that you had a human experience with your horse. That's how you had this lovely connection to see a pattern, see a story or a trend. And then when you see it in yours and your family, we thank them for giving us that story. Because without that story, you can't do your next step, which is to hold the energy of that undoing in the collective field. So whatever transpired in your family, however each person in the family behaved, we're so grateful to them for that disgusting or difficult or challenging behavior, whatever it is. We're thankful to them, because if we don't know what it is, we don't know where to shine the light. And we are the light. Really, what you're doing is looking at a story of expectation.
Yeah.
And that's a major story, a major turmoil story in our human collective, this expectation, this requirement that we need you to behave or show up in a certain way so that I can feel safe, loved, seen, honored, valued. That's all that's expectation is ever about, so that I'll feel stable, so that I know what to expect, so that I don't feel a void or a gap or a hollow. It's all of that. So expectation, you see it, and now always do this. You go like, okay, I see it in my family. I see it, I see the pattern, but we stay in our family. We stay here. We think it's ours and we must fix it for us or for them. Yes, we do. That will happen anyway, but we only ever have any kind of story that is outside, so that we can clean up what is outside, what is an energy frequency that is a distortion, that we can bring clarity to it. So imagine the energy of expectation, which you know very well, because you had the story play out in your life and you were so young and you've been able to carry it all to this point in your life. How amazing is that? Knowing how deep that ache and that yearning was, and then finding the truth in it. The minute we do the truth, we find the truth, we've turned on the flashlight in that dark space. It's no longer a dark space with a hidden story that's erupting pain in my body that I want to get out of and just not think and do any kind of way to anesthetize. The minute I'm willing to see it in my own family, then I can heal it as an awareness, an energy, a frequency. But we don't. We all stay here and try and make it better in our family. And you must behave like this, and I'm going to release you, and then you do that. But then next week, one of those family members that you think this thing got untied with them starts behaving in exactly the same way. It's like, oh, well, really? So I've done all this work. So what the heck? Why they're now behaving in the same way?
Yeah.
And now we're disappointed with them and ourselves and life because the expectation has got bigger. Now you want everyone in this little human story to have been fixed by that story. We're all stuck there. We want the fixing to happen. I see that a lot. Yeah, of course we do. And it validates us. You must get better because I've done this hard work with you. Now, please, you must just get better, get over this. And then they don't. And you go like, what the heck? But we're all getting stuck in our human story. We don't realize that the human story is only an indicator, performance that's carrying around our form, informing us so that we can transform. We've got to use that energy and open up the frequency. So you've got such a great one here, you've got lots of them. So you can take the energy of expectation and start looking at it in the collective field. How is that causing a great collapse right now? And it is collapsing. People are mightily disappointed with each other and the governments and the world and all the concerns. We all, the way we've been and doing and acting, we are so disappointed in each other. Why? Because we had an expectation that they should do this, people should do that. Should, must, have to, wrong place. Conditional energy. And we throw it out there that people should, they must. But it started in our own awareness, expectation. I had an expectation that my sweet one needed to fulfill the space. so that I could feel full and loved and heard, and I wouldn't feel loss and grief and hardship and suffering. We can't bear any of those patterns of depletion. They hurt us very badly because they awaken the longing. And we keep forgetting it's the longing that must awaken so that we can draw that magnetic field. But we don't want to long for something. We just don't. We want everything to be lovely, but it is already lovely in the higher realm. The distortion is here. We long because we know it as perfect and smooth and glorious and kind and generous. We know that already. And we're trying to bring that vibration into this field. That's what we're doing. It's just stepping up as a human species. That's what we're trying to do. It's that longing. Listen to longing, the magnetic field. It's fantastic. Every time you long for something, you are right in the right place. But we collapse it into a disappointment.
I got it.
Got it.
Yeah.
It's wonderful.
Because the wobble is also the longing. The wobble that I'm experiencing is the longing.
Yeah. You want harmony, you want peace, you want structure, you want the ability to do this or that. We want something, longing. But when we put need, want, longing with a condition, then we made it double pain. Oh gosh, how we torture ourselves. They must do this
quite
so
ridiculous,
that
really.
We are ridiculous. We're the most completely ridiculous species.
Unbelievable.
It is unbelievable. And so if we say that the conditional energy, everyone must show up in a certain way, even that is absolute truth, because that is us as our higher self already. Everyone is showing up as their higher self with an awareness and consciousness and kindness, all those wonderful things. So we say we wish they were. Of course we do, because we know that already from them. So they're actually they're not a disappointed or disappointing person or being. It's just the behavior in the space, the performance in the space that interprets itself as disappointing or less than, so that we'll remember the bigger story. Let's go to the bigger story, unhook the conditional energy. Gosh, wouldn't that be nice if we could all unhook conditional energy? And you know what? That's the best game to play with yourself. So you to go around this next week and you go and look at everything that has a condition in it. Oh my gosh, everything's got a condition in it. I can have this if. They can do that when. And so we play, ding, 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 ding. We are masters of that game. And part of that is because we don't want to bring it back to ourselves, because it feels like it's too lonely or too sad, or we're too broken or too lost or too small, or I can't have. We wanted to show up. We want support. What we're really saying is we want all these people to jump in here and support me beautifully so I can truly be the light that I am, the brilliant light being that I am. Why don't they see me?
Yeah. Amazing.
So sweet, hey?
Hey. Phew.
Phew. Sweet girl.
Thank you, Joy.
Such a big pleasure, my darling. Such a wonderful space for us to come back home to who we are. We're on time at the most important and critical time of our human journey. And we're waking up. And those of us who are struggling are truly, truly on time. Just really, really remember that, my angel. Everything that you feel like it's gosh, it's just me, or it's just too hard. It's not. And stay in your body. Don't go be doing any anesthetizing and trying to get out into your higher self. You really are that. You cannot let any of the human game slow us down. We've got so much, oh gosh, I just went goosebumps when I say that to you now, because that is such a mess. You've got so much that's got to come through you. And you're here on time, and you're here on purpose. And you're the one who must stay and be here and hold the space. Because there's nobody else, my Tanya. There's no one else who can do what you can do. No one can hold the space with all the knowledge that you have from eons of journeying through your ancestral line, through all timelines. There is never, and there's never going to be another one like you who can be here at this time, in this moment, the most pivotal time in our human story. It's you. So like, wow, do we need this? Do we need that? Do we need anything else? No, we just need to remember who we are. Stand in our absolute. Ooh, I just get so much energy just being pushed towards you for that. Ooh. Nice. Just hold it, darling girl. Phew. Beautiful you.
Thank you, Joy.
Like a bird on a tree, I'm just sitting here. I got time, it's clear to see. From up here, the world seems small. We can sit together. It's so beautiful, you and me. We meant to be in the great outdoors.